Welcome back to the ChiCast. I'm your voice of mindfulness, Marcus Julian Combo, coming to you here at TCWM Studios in the city of brotherly love. Yes, with that good old cup of chi. Beautiful and tasty as always. A question that I'm gonna pose to you before we get started, and that is, when you look back on your childhood, has there been a moment, something that happened in your here and now, that made a person in your past more influential in your present than perhaps they had been prior? Someone that may have already passed or has since been long gone from your life, in so much that you parted ways. It's just an interesting idea, and I'd like to know if you've felt this before, where when Mr. Rogers died, people understood how much he really meant to them, giving him a renaissance, if you will. The same happened with Bob Ross, and to be honest, I still tear up when I see or hear the voice of Stan Lee. And so, if you think back to your childhood, if you think back to when you were younger, did something along the way make someone more important today? Leave it down in the comments. Leave your stories, your awakenings, for the audience to learn from. As we get chatting about something very similar for me, the passing of one of my childhood icons, the late Scott Hall. Now I know you're thinking, Tai Chi guy, we're gonna do a thing for a wrestler. Yeah, we're gonna do a thing for this doggone wrestler and anyone who deserves it. Now, in order to understand the importance of Scott Hall, I need to transport you back to preteen Marcus. At that time, the world was very black and white. The good guys were Hulk Hogan. The bad guys were either foreign or usually had a tan, now that I think about it. It was a different time back then, but not so long ago. And so, suddenly the world was beginning to change. It was the 90s. Now, I was somewhere in that preteen realm when Scott Hall walked out of the back and into the wrestling world as Razor Ramon. Not only was he booked as a bad guy, he in fact called himself the bad guy. There was no mincing of words. It was about as subtle as Star Wars in who you should root for. But the thing was, he was cool. Secretly, we were all starting to root for the bad guy. Because there was something about him. He embodied all the things the good guys were supposed to embody. And because of that, it was hard not to cheer for him. He was confident, capable. He was built like a Greek statue. And his swagger and charisma, if only 11-year-old me could achieve something like this. I too could be the bad guy. And then adult me steps in. And I think without Ramon suddenly making it okay to cheer for the bad guy, would personalities like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock have their opportunity to shine? And if The Rock never had his opportunity to shine, the world would not have had one of the biggest movie stars in the history of ever. And can you imagine a world without The Rock? You can stop now. I know it's sad. It's a very empty world. So even if you don't know Scott Hall, you have felt his influence on your life. This right here is that unity, that ripple effect, that connectedness we all talk about. Flash forward to teenage Marcus. And I'm 15. It's Monday night, and an absolute nothing match is taking place on the screen. When all of a sudden, this WCW crowd, the rival promotion to WWE, erupts in confusion as Scott Hall, as Razor Ramon walks through the crowd, jumps over the guardrail, dismisses the WCW guys out of the ring, and makes fun of the very promotion whose ring he's standing on. This, to my 15-year-old mind, was as if Loki had stepped into the latest Batman movie. And the world of wrestling, the world, period, was forever changed. Because ultimately, that change caused an exodus from WWF over to WCW, which not only founded the NWO, but it opened the door for new talent like Austin, like Dwayne Johnson. And so, not only in an influential way did Scott Hall and Razor Ramon pave the way for one of the biggest careers we've ever seen, he and his actions directly influenced the rise of the greatest draw in wrestling history, and the biggest box office star in movie history. Done with those comments. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Maybe even give it a share. Then if you're really enjoying yourself and you're looking for uninterrupted content, head over to Patreon to gain access to this and behind the scenes access, special events, and more ways to enjoy your mindful fitness adventure we call life. A big thank you to you, the patrons, for without you, I would not be able to do what I do. For our viewers, join them at www.patreon.com/withmarcus.